Hey everyone, New 312 here, and after taking a little bit of a break, as in I fucking fell unconscious for a while, I'm back to recording. So last time, Keiichi ran into good old Takano, the grade A bitch that she is. I would have fucking killed her because, no fucking mercy. But he didn't, so now everything's probably going to go to shit. At first, I thought it was a dream. I was staring at this strange sheet, not really understanding what it was. That was all. I didn't go after it, nor did I ridicule it. The fact was that the boring view was the ceiling of my own room, but I didn't realize that for a fairly long time. Yeah, I thought I had been dreaming, but I'd actually been staring at the ceiling the whole time. Lethargically induced by the voices of the cicadas. Even after I realized I was awake, I couldn't draw out forth the energy to sit up. God, I fucking hate that. Everything I could see, everything I could hear, everything was like a television broadcast that had already ended. It was hot. So hot I could choke on the heat. My back was moist with night sweats, and it felt gross. Unable to endure it any longer, I tossed in my futon, and finally blood started coursing through my brain. I lazily recalled the long day I had yesterday. The reality as I lay here listening to the voices of cicadas, and yesterday, so different from it. In order to kill Satoga's uncle, I had formulated a plan, and dug a hole. It was very hot, and I was tired, wasn't I? And when evening came, I went to school and called him out on the phone. I panicked for a moment when he asked where the police station was, but it worked out. And then I awaited him and swooped down. I couldn't remember anymore what sort of emotions I'd let control my body. In any case, it didn't go smoothly, but I did it. It was very hard to dig the hole for the body. That feel of the rain pelting down on me, I don't think I'll ever forget it. The rain, the mud, and the sprays of blood. The sensation of floundering in a swamp. When I met Takano on the way home, that wasn't good, no matter how I interpreted it. It was the most misfortunate and uncalculated thing that had happened that night. Everything would have been perfect, if only I hadn't encountered her. Yep. I was just riding my bike, with my shovel in one hand through the downpour, utterly soaked. There was no way someone could surmise I was a murderer bearing a body just from that information. Now that I was thinking calmly, napping under the morning sun, that's what I thought. Still, the more I think about Takano's eyes, it seemed like she understood. Takano, she knew. That I'd kill someone, buried them, and that I'd been on my way home, exhausted. Takano wouldn't gain anything from selling me out to the police. But that didn't mean I could feel at ease. I should have killed her. I had crossed such a bridge to get my tranquil life back, and I'd finally achieved it as a result. But now for the rest of my life, for all the tranquil days starting today, I'd have to live in fear of when they could suddenly end. I may have twisted my ankle, dulled from total exhaustion. The fact that I couldn't make the snap judgment I needed to, I regretted it more and more as time went on. Had he just fucking killed her, it wouldn't matter. It would all be done. Three, two, one. You didn't have a choice, Keiichi Maebara. You didn't have any choice at the time. You were tired. You were a mess. Even if you had made the decision, you might not have been able to kill her. See, that's what I was thinking as well. She might have just beaten you instead. Okay, I wouldn't go that far. In that sense, parting ways uneventfully could have been the safer option. I doubt it. It rarely ever is the safest option. No matter how sharp Takano's intuition was, she had no proof. Her suspecting me didn't amount to evidence by itself. Logically, I know that. But that doesn't mean I have nothing to worry about, does it? Just worry about it when the time comes. Now isn't the time to be worrying. It's the time to be smiling, right? You accomplished so much just to gain a new life starting today, didn't you? See, now he's gonna have, this paranoia. And then whenever, someone hints at something, he's gonna fly off the deep end. He's never going to be happy. You can never be happy after killing someone. I mean, unless you're just a depraved human being. And at that point, you're not really human at that point. But no one ever is truly happy after killing someone, no matter who it is or what they've done to you. You're never truly always happy. Then you should be happy at this morning. If remembering the past is too hard for you, then just consider everything up to yesterday as having never happened. You said yourself, you'd bury it all like it never happened. Well, your wish came true. Everything before yesterday never happened. So be happy, Keiji Maibara. Well, Satoko would still have scars from it. Mental scars. Emotional scars. Yay! I stuck up my hands lazily. It felt a little silly for me to be the one doing it. I heaved a sigh from deep in my belly. That sigh got my lungs moving. It felt like I hadn't been breathing until just now. It wasn't enough to admonish myself over. All the dice that could be thrown already had been. And the numbers that turned up weren't bad at all. Possibly. You can only see a couple. If there's 5, you can only see 3. There's still some darkness around. If I lost with those numbers, then I'd just have to give up, I guess. I grabbed the chest of my pajamas and flapped it back and forth. Cool air wafted over my sweating body. Okay. Nothing before yesterday happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'd forget it all. Yesterday was all a dream. What time was it? About midday? Oh my god. Getting myself up and going to school this late seemed kind of absurd, but I needed to go. I felt like going to school would be the first step into my peaceful new life. I didn't care how late it was, I would go. I'd go to school right now and get back to the life I had retaken as soon as I could. My lazy body immediately became lighter at the thought. I rolled up out of the futon, bounced onto my knees, then leaped upright. Nice, stuck the landing. I stuck out my chest with pride at my gymnast-like pose, then took a deep breath of fresh air. The brisk morning air had been gone for a while, replaced by the crisp air of summer. Downstairs I got a stern talking to by my mother. Where were you last night? When did you get back? You need to tell me when you won't be home for dinner, things like that. But considering the importance of what I'd accomplished yesterday, a little scolding was no problem. In fact, it felt even like the sort of thing that would happen in such a peaceful life. I listened with an irresponsible smile and stepped out into the sun high overhead. It was around the time lunch break would be ending. Everyone would probably be worrying about me. I didn't go to the festival and now I wasn't at school. Well, maybe they weren't too worried about it. You know Milan's probably worried about it. And that would make me want to hurry to school. Actually, I wouldn't have been late, probably. Since they would have gotten a small piece of news, but a happy one from Satoko today. Yeah, the small piece of news that her uncle hadn't come home last night. Satoko would probably live her days in nervous tension for a while, thinking he might still come home. But eventually those days would end. And finally Satoko too would realize her uncle was never coming back. And then Rika would quietly invite her. She would say, "You can live with me again," and everything would be back to normal. Our lives would go back to how they were before that man appeared. Satoko would start wearing that extraordinary smile complete with those protruding canines, and fool everyone with those traps she was so proud of. I'd probably be her first target out of everyone, but I wouldn't be mad. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Satoko. she'd gradually grow back into the meddlesome personality of hers. I mean, my lack of useful life skills was already completely exposed. I wonder if I'd ever be a match for Satoko. But that would be such a pleasant thing to see, too. And with such warm, fuzzy predictions, I didn't feel bad for going to school so late. In fact, I wanted to run there now to get there as soon as I could. Instead, I decided to savor the peacefulness of just going to school like normal, without running. The world I had attained for myself, that gave me joy just by walking like this. Yeah, the world beginning on this very day was something I had won. Without that monumental feat yesterday, I would have never been able to come to school as cheerful today. The school gate came into sight. Just then I heard the principal ringing the bell to mark the end of lunch break. Okay, thank God. I thought he was going to say, just then I saw Oishi parked in the school parking lot area. And then I would immediately be like, oh, fuck me. Well, guess it didn't work out for you. It was a clear, refreshing sound. I stopped despite myself and let myself take it in. Good God, I don't know why I couldn't say that for a second. Tap. I had stopped suddenly. So there's an extra footstep. Oh, fuck me. No, yeah, he's fucking cursed. Fuck. That means he's gonna disappear. Or get murdered. Well, I wonder what it'll be this time. With the noise, the blessedness I was feeling throughout my whole body withdrew into any pore it could find. And as if to replace it, I felt like hundreds of hairy caterpillars were climbing up my feet. Oh, fuck off. No, God. I don't need that imagery. I turned back, but of course nobody was there. A single footstep could have easily been my imagination. No. But the footstep felt so ominous. That extra footstep I had heard, after seeing Takano off last night. With everything that happened on that insane night, I didn't mind something like that happening once. It had been a hell of a night after all. In fact, having just one hallucination was probably fortunate. But those footsteps should have ended with yesterday, so if I heard them again today, there was really only one thing it could have meant. Last night still wasn't over. It was still going. Still. An insane night forever. The step I heard, just that extra footstep, was quietly ridiculing the nonsensical notion that the world starting today was completely different from the one that ended yesterday. My classmates playing in the schoolyard all vanished inside like the tide going out. When I approached the school, it felt like that warm, fuzzy scene that it had ended, and it didn't feel good. At the entrance, I took a quick look in everyone's shoe boxes. Satoko Hojo. She was here. Mion was here too. Thank God. Whew. Thank you. Yes. I'm happy. Yes. And Rena, of course. Even Riko was here. Tomita and Okamura were here. In fact, I didn't see any missing classmates. And if there were shoes missing, they would have to be my own. I took my shoes off, stuck them in, and then took out some slippers. There wasn't a single pair left in the shoe boxes anymore. With that, they returned to their rightful state. But as I stepped up onto the wooden floor, I noticed that there was just one pair of slippers left. Huh? Whose? Satoshi Hojo. Satoshi, who had never been to school since disappearing last year. Until now, we had committed the exact same act of violence. But I guess in the very end, it went differently. You couldn't make it to school, but here I am. I didn't repeat the same mistake you made. I wasn't about to let myself feel superior about that. In fact, I felt an odd sense of familiarity with him. A misfortunate bond, with someone I had never met due to us following the same fate. I headed down the hallway towards the unusual classroom. The fuck? The usual classroom, not the unusual one. What the fuck? It felt like it had been a whole year since coming here. Hey, did you forget Keiichi Maibara? Satoshi Hojo didn't really disappear on the night of Wadanagashi, did he? Satoshi Hojo disappeared a few days later. on Tataka's birthday, if I was right. I didn't know what day it was, but I couldn't say for sure I'd avoided Satoshi's failure unless I remained here past that day. I was still living in that night of insanity. The teacher still hadn't come to the classroom. The other door clattered open, the one the teacher wouldn't use, so everyone turned at once to see who had arrived. Everyone looked pretty vacant. Suppose I'll greet them. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I do thank you for all coming all the way out here today. Ha ha ha. Silence. Okay. No time for jokes. When I started to think I'd fallen flat, someone finally started laughing for me. Please be Mion. Oh, thank God. Yes. She's the true savior. Good morning, Kei-chan. You're pretty energetic today. Oh, she is the true savior. Oh my God. See, that's good right there. That's good. When the joke completely falls flat, you need that one person to be by your side. Good God. Other than that, something bad probably happened. Yeah, energetic. Maybe you haven't gotten out of the festival mood yet. How? Hearing Mion and Rena's cheerful voices made me realize how dumb those dark feelings I'd been having at the entrance really were. Hey now, festival mood? I wasn't at the festival at all, remember? Before I could say that, Rika smiled at me. Keiichi, did you make sure to watch my dance? You can't lie. You're fucked. Yep, he saw it just fine. What? Didn't you see how big an applause he gave you? And he ignored it when that blockhead Shion came up and made a pass at him. What, was I there? Because that sounds like something I would do. Take that, Shion. Wow, that felt good. Mion starts laughing at the memory as she slaps me on a few times on the back. What? What's going on? Are they just trying to cover for me? Because that would be amazing. So, how did that target practice contest turn out in the end? Tomita was facing me and talking. There's nobody behind me. That meant he was talking to me. What's happening? Tomita turned up dead last. Everyone had a good time with this punishment game. Weren't you supposed to be the one in last place, Rika? It was such a turn around when you pulled off getting that chewing gum. I should have expected that from a member of my club. It was fantastic. Crying at a time like that is a feat only Furude would be allowed to do, said Okamura, breathing heavily from his nose, in my direction. Everyone laughed. If only but Rika had done it, it would have been against the rules. Rika gave one of her knee-paw smiles as she listened to it, in my direction. What? I'm so confused. Rena too turned to me. No, turned towards me. And then with a somewhat embarrassed smile, she whispered to me so only I could hear. But really, thanks, Keiichi-kun. For what? That giant stuffed animal. Fuck you. I was really happy. It's nice and safe right at my bedside. And I made sure to give it a goodnight kiss before bed too. Oh. What the fuck is going on? One, if the other Keiichi, ignoring Shion, he would have given the bear to Mion because, that's what I would have fucking done. Fuck me. That's the smart thing to do. At least in, any rational way of thinking about it. But what the fuck is going on? What? Oh, don't tell me it was all just like a fucking dream. That legitimately that entire night was a dream. A hallucination. Because that would be fucked. That would be really fucked up. The class laughed at that, cheering and jeering. This whole time, the conversation had been a little bit off. I wasn't quite getting it. What's this about a stuffed animal?
What's this? Come on, we all worked really hard at the festival yesterday to get it down, remember? The gigantic stuffed animal.
The gigantic stuffed animal? Rena seemed taken aback, but when she answered, she did it with a smile.
We were having a hard time knocking it over, so we tried aiming at the forehead and rapid-fire shooting and stuff. And then, Keiichi, you got a whole bunch of guns ready beforehand and shot them all. It was so cool, how...
Okay, that was the same as last game, but... he wasn't there. It has to all be a fucking hallucination that whole last night. It had to have been. Wait, who was this?
All the people in the neighborhood association, including the chairman, were praising you so much at the party afterwards. One of them said he'd fallen in love with your way with words. Tokuzo Kimiyoshi, the chairman of the children's committee, I think. He said he wanted to entrust you with a few stalls at the next festival.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome.
God damn it. Why couldn't have you just used Kimiyoshi? Tokuzo is the chair of the refreshment booth. He's on the festival executive committee. Maebara is great at making things sound good, isn't he? Yet whenever he talks about something, it seems a lot better than it actually is.
You can't say that.
Keiichi, you'd be a great salesman. If you did a bargain sale on bananas or something, I bet it would be great.
What have you been talking about? I mean, I didn't go to the festival in the first place. I swallowed those words. Hey Mion, can we talk in the back of the building real quick? Because I have a lot of shit I need answered. She'd be the best one to go to in a time like this. I didn't know exactly why, but in Hinamizawa, this is what had happened. Yesterday during the Watanagashi festival, Keiichi Maebara had appeared, and he had romped around about with all the usual members of his club. He made a big scene at a few of the stalls, snatched a few sticks of takoyaki and God fucking damn it. Okonomiyataki? Something. Fuck you. Stop making me read fucking food dishes that I don't know what the fucking name of them are. In his glee, rating each of them as delicious or terrible to get everyone excited. And then they'd seen a giant stuffed animal at the target practice game, and everyone went after it. Then I got a whole bunch of court guns, firing them in rapid succession, throwing each one away after using it. And admirably, I shot down the biggest stuffed animal there. Then I gave the stuffed animal, the proof of my victory, to Rena as a gift. Then our fun came to a close as we had to go see Rika's offertory dance. There was a ton of people squeezed in there, and we all got separated, but we each managed to get into good positions to cheer Rika on from. Then in the middle, when Shion came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the dedication dance, I refused, and stayed put, watching the dance until the very end. Oh, you mean what you should have done last game? Oh, yeah. Fucking dick. But who? Who was that? Well, everyone's been saying it, haven't they? Keiichi Maebara. I had an urge to yell in anger at my classmates for having so much fun talking about the festival yesterday with Keiichi Maebara. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Far stronger than that feeling, though, was the sheer uncanny nature of this reality I couldn't understand. A Keiichi Maebara who wasn't me was in Hinamizawa yesterday. As I threw away my humanity, I turned into a demon, and was busy beating Sasuke's uncle to death. I was having a great time at the festival last night. What the hell? I had to suffer through so much, desperately holding back tears, getting so worn out in that downpour, digging holes, chasing, beating, killing, dragging and burying. It was this Keiichi Maebara who had ignored me so and spent such a fun, carefree time at the festival, damn it. Who the hell stood in for me as I put my life on the line working so hard to achieve this treasure-like everyday life? If there's another Keiichi Maebara besides me, then what was I? On the night of Watanagashi, where one died and one disappeared in accordance with Oyashiro-sama's curse. There was only a demon who had killed someone. What the fuck? Dumbfounded as I succumbed to a horrifying possibility, I looked around at my classmates. I hope you're all fucking joking. Because I'm confused as fuck. It's weird. It's making no sense. To make sure there was nobody extra I didn't recognize among them. To make sure I wasn't among them. It was a horrifying thought. That the real Keiichi Maebara hadn't overslept and come to school on time. And that I, who was no longer Keiichi Maebara, had just waltzed in here. But no matter how much I checked, the only person here who were ones I knew. The man I met every time I looked in a bathroom mirror was not here. Okay, everyone. Time to start afternoon classes. Please take your seats. President, please lead the class. The teacher entered and everyone hurried back to their seats. Upon finding me, who was stupidly late, she gave me a stern talking to, but I wasn't listening to it. Wasn't our old life supposed to start today? Something wasn't right. It was just strange. I was supposed to go back to my old fun life after yesterday. I'd set foot in an incomparably mysterious world that was completely different from both my old life and my recent one. Yeah, this was without a doubt a different world than the one I'd been living in until now. There's no way such an absurd thing could be possible. But unless it was true, I couldn't explain anything that just happened. In this classroom, I was surrounded by so many faces I knew, and yet I felt so isolated. The cicadas sounded no different than they had before now, but they seemed somehow false. The air was parched and dry, too, making me think, was the air in Hinamizawa always this uncomfortable? What the fuck is going on? Hey, Rena. I'm not fucking crazy, am I? What is it? We're in class. About the festival yesterday. And about when you say I got there. When would you say I got there? Huh? To be honest, I was pretty excited afterwards and I gobbled down some cans of beer. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I don't remember some things. For random babbling, it wasn't a bad excuse. Oh, that was her. That probably said it. Keiichi, you said you couldn't come at first, didn't you? You called Michan's house about it, right? That matched. I called Mion and told her to take Satoko in my place, since I wouldn't be able to meet with them, due to things I had to do. I still think that was Shion who answered the phone. We all decided we were setting up for the festival that we'd invite Satoko. We wanted to bring her out someplace where she couldn't see her uncle for a little while. That was the same too. Fuck, this is confusing. Mion said that when I called her, that everyone had already decided to invite her. And then we all went with Michan and Rika to Satoko's house and brought her out. Satoko's uncle seemed like a really mean person. That part didn't matter. What I was trying to ask was, when did I meet up with you? How could you forget that? Keiichi, I think you shouldn't be drinking until you're an adult. Whatever. When did I meet up with you? Well... In my sudden threatening demand, Rena was at a loss for words. Oh, I shouldn't have rushed that. I told her I was sorry. Fucking yes, Mion. I mean, she'll know. She knows everything. Fuck me. It was at the Shrine Grounds. It was unexpected. You were talking to Rika, weren't you? Yep. You were having a fun talk with Rika in her Shrine Maiden outfit. And then Rena came up and said, "Oh, I'm taking you home." I was talking to Rika. And I asked Kei-chan, didn't you have something to do today? Then you pounded your chest and said it yourself. That letting loose at a festival was more important than some silly errand. Wow. I didn't say that. I never said anything like that.
I never even went to the shrine grounds yesterday to begin with. I never had the time to stop by a place like that. I went to dig holes as soon as I woke up. I had a pretty hard time doing it. After that, I snuck into the school and made a call. I called him out and lay in wait. And then it started raining really hard. With that kind of downpour, the festival should have come to a halt. In other words, it ended then. From the time the festival started to when it ended, it would have been impossible for me to have swung by the shrine ground. I was already there when Mion and the others dragged Satoko out and brought her to the shrine, and I was talking to Rika. Then, where would Rika say we met? The teacher went out to wash her hands, so I ran over to Rika's desk and asked her directly, grabbed her by the throat. "Tell me, damn it! Tell me!" "With you?" "Yeah. We were talking together before Mion and the others got there, right? When did we see each other? When and where?" "I don't know what you're trying to ask." "Fuck you. I drank so much beer I lost sense of my memory. I don't remember a thing." It looked like Rika bought into my babbling. "We saw each other when the mayor and the others came out of the assembly hall. You were in front of the ritual implement storehouse." "Huh? What? The ritual implement storehouse? I never heard of a building called that before. Or maybe I have, but at the very least I wouldn't know where the shrine grounds it was. Where on the shrine grounds it was. The mayor got really angry at you since you shouldn't go near holy places without authority, remember? Keiichi, did you forget that too?" I was too scared to ask any more. The more I asked, the more it became clear without any doubt that Keiichi Maebara was present at the Furude Shrine grounds during the Watanagashi festival. The clearer that became, the more doubts, no fears I had. Who on earth was I yesterday? Whoever that was, he had a good time in my place, and managed to go the entire day without letting them notice I wasn't there. Alright, when did that person leave everyone? This morning my mother got mad at me for having stayed out so late last night, which meant at the very least that Keiichi Maebara hadn't come home while my mother was still awake. The festival would have closed because of the downpour. If I recall right, when I went back to the house's storage room to get another shovel, I think the clock said 11. Since it was already raining hard by then, the festival would have to close down before 7. If I'd returned that early, I would have definitely run into my parents. Or at the very least, they wouldn't have asked me when I got back last night. So the Keiichi Maebara from yesterday, that meant he never went home. That meant the downpour happened, the festival was broken up, everyone left. But he didn't go back to the house. So, that means... When I arrived at the natural conclusion, a wicked chill suddenly froze my spine and climbed up to my brain. That meant Keiichi Maebara was the same as Satoshi. One day he never went home. On the night of Watanagashi he never went home. The downpour interrupted the festival, and on the way home he suddenly disappeared. And I, who was dealing with the corpse, went home without a problem. I was so tired I wasn't even hungry, so I went up to my room without a sound and crawled into my futon. Who was I? That much was obvious. Keiichi Maebara. Keiichi Maebara was me. There may have been another one, but that doesn't negate the fact that I was Keiichi Maebara. Then that other Keiichi Maebara was what? I'm so fucking confused. What the fuck's going on? What? Is there like a twin running around? Oh god, don't do that. Or is he like possessing Keiichi at this point? The voices of the cicadas steadily filling the classroom were beginning to bother me. Suddenly I laid eyes on Satoko. Satoko's expression was dark as always. She seemed completely exhausted, had a life of agony she couldn't even imagine an ending to. What had last night been like for Satoko? Did she have fun with everyone, and feel a little happier, if even for a moment? And when she went home, the end of her dream, she'd probably gone to sleep afraid of when her uncle would return.
And then this morning, her uncle hadn't come home. And then she went to school. Right now, she must have been still trapped by the rotten idea from which she couldn't be saved, that her uncle would need her when she got back. But you can rest easy, Satoko. Your uncle won't ever be coming back. I couldn't tell her it was because I killed him. When Satoko realized on her own that her uncle would never return, then that would truly be the end of the long, insane night. That's right, but how long will that be? I didn't do anything wrong. I did the best possible thing I could have as Satoko's Nini. Not an atom in my body regretted it. This is so fucking weird. I'm so confused. I don't think he actually killed him. I think it was all like this huge ass hallucination. Or something like that, because I'm confused as hell.